So before we start, I just want to check. Okay, we'll sing the prayers, and then we'll start. Before we go further, I just wanted to check. No, next session somebody would like to take. Next topic is most confidential knowledge. Okay, so it's in continuation of this topic. Today's topic, no, about sadhana bhakti. I think further we'll discuss about devotional service. So it's a small, small part only. So who would like to take the next session? Anybody want to volunteers? Chetan Prabhu, do you want to try? Hare Krishna, Chetan Prabhu, are you there?
Yes, Prabhuji. I will try, Prabhuji. But
Okay.
should I? Okay, Prabhuji. I'll try, Prabhuji. I'll try, Prabhuji. Next week,
You
no,
have,
Prabhuji.
yeah, next week you have the material, no? Do you have the material document?
I think it is there in the chat, no, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yeah,
If you don't get, you can just ping me. I'll again send it. So 25th, no? 25th next Saturday is the session. So
okay.
it is, you can just go through the material, Prabhu, and then just no, read it, and then you can facilitate.
Okay.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you.
So
Yeah.
like how Satya Mataji has done last week. We need to
Yes.
do that.
Yeah, yeah. Yes. Satya Mataji and today Nivedana Mataji also will be doing. No? So basically, yeah, basically you are the facilitator. No, basically whatever just we did normally every time we do same thing only. So today also you can see, and the same thing we can do next week also. Thank you, bro. Then we'll move on. Okay, Nivedana Mataji. So over to you. We can start with the prayers maybe, and then we can come here back.
Okay.
So Mataji will sing the prayer, or you can. I think you can only sing. I think it's better you sing. We'll all repeat.
I'm not able to
Okay.
see the screen. Yeah.
Is it?
Okay. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदार्थितं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरु वैष्णवां च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागणसगुणात्तवितं स जीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराध कृष्णपादं सहगणा ललिता विशाखान्तं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रचाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाञ्छानं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम् ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So today's topic is sadhana bhakti, like how Prabhuji used to follow. Like we will also first we'll read the paragraph wise, and then we'll make notes, points, and then we can start discussion on this topic. So first, anyone wants to read the first paragraph?
can read, Mataji. I'll read.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Devotional service means transcendental activities. On the transcendental platform, there is no contamination by the three modes of material nature. This is called Vishuddha Sattva, the platform of pure goodness, or goodness free from contamination by the qualities of passion and ignorance. In this Krishna conscious movement, we require everyone to rise early in the morning by 4 o'clock and attend Mangalarati or morning worship, then read Srimad Bhagavatam, perform Kirtana, and so forth. Thus, we hold continuous activities in devotional service 24 hours daily. This is called Satovritti, or following the footsteps of the previous acharyas, who expertly filled every moment of time with Krishna conscious activities.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, anybody volunteer for second paragraph?
Shall I read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. If one strictly follows the advice given in this verse by Srila Rupa Goswami, namely being enthusiastic, being confident, being patient, giving up the association of unwanted persons, following the regulative principles, and remaining in the association of devotees, one is sure to advance in devotional service. In this regard, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur remarks that the cultivation of knowledge by philosophical speculation, the collection of mundane opulence by the advancement of fruitive activities, and the desire for yoga siddhis, material perfections, are all contrary to the principles of devotional service. One has to become thoroughly callous to such non-permanent activities and turn his attention instead to the regulative principles of devotional service. Extract from Nectar of Instruction, text 3. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yeah, we'll continue with the next paragraph.
Whom did you ask, Mataji?
Yeah, Chaitan Prabhu wants to read Prabhuji.
According to the Bhagavad Gita, Ya Nisa Sarva Bhutesh, Ya Nisa, can you come scroll down a little bit?
Yeah, yes.
Ya Nisa Sarva Bhute, Bhutanam, Tasyam Jagrati Samyami, Yasham Jagrati Bhutani, Sa Nisa Pashato Munihe. What is night for all being is the time of awakening for the self-controlled, and the time of awakening for all being is night for the introspective stage. There are two classes of intelligent men. One is intelligent in material activities for sense gratification, and the other is introspective and awake to the cultivation of self-realization. According to the activities of the introspective stage or thoughtful man are night for persons materially observed. Materialistic persons remain asleep in such a night due to their ignorance of self-realization. The introspective sage remains alert in the night of the materialistic men. The sage feels transcendental pleasure in the gradual advancement of spiritual culture, whereas the man in the materialistic activities, being asleep to self-realization, dreams of varieties of sense pleasure, feeling sometimes happy and sometimes distressed in his sleeping condition. The introspective man is always indifferent to materialistic happiness and distress. He goes on with his self-realization activities undisturbed by material reactions. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, this today's topic is on sadhana bhakti, that is devotional service. The process of devotional service. It is said that it is it begins with the chanting and hearing. It is called as sadhana bhakti. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is quoted that And the awakening to Krishna consciousness is the beginning of sadhana bhakti. And the devotional service is always, it is a dormant in everyone's heart. It is already there. And by the offenseless chanting of the holy name of the Lord, one's original dormant Krishna consciousness is awakened. This awakening to Krishna consciousness is the beginning of sadhana bhakti. This can be mainly divided into many different parts, which includes faith, being faithful in in Lord Krishna, and should have fully faith in Lord, and association with devotees, and initiation by the spiritual master, engagement in devotional service under the instructions of spiritual master, and steadiness in devotional service, and then awakening to the awakening of a taste for devotional service. In this way, one can become attached to Krishna and his service, and when this attachment is intensified, it results in ecstatic love of Krishna. It is also mentioned that when transcendental devotional service by which love for Krishna is attained, it is executed by the senses. It is called sadhana bhakti, or the regulative discharge of devotional service. Such devotional eternally exists within the heart of every living entity. This awakening of the eternal devotional is potentiality of the devotional service in practice. Whatever it is mentioned here is first paragraph, they are telling about regulative sadhana bhakti. The regulative sadhana bhakti, it includes waking up early in the Brahma Muhurta time, and then taking bath, and then doing Mangal Arati, and like all the Tulsi Arati, Mangal Arati, and then chanting 16 rounds. And after chanting 60 rounds, and deity worship, and doing prasadam, honoring prasadam. So these are the regulative ways of the sadhana bhakti mentioned in the first paragraph. It is telling, any points, do any other points from, if you can have, then we can share from the first paragraph.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Can I try, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
I think I missed the first part, Mataji. So
yeah.
What I understood was, as you said, this devotional service is a transcendental activity. That is, in the material world we are there, but it is not contaminated by the three modes of material nature.
Yes, Mataji.
That's right. And we are above the platform of of passion and ignorance. And this stage was called Shuddha Sattva. Both are the same, no? Vishuddha Sattva and Shuddha Sattva. I don't know.
Vishuddha Sattva means, here it is mentioned, platform of pure goodness, means above goodness. Goodness also, like in we know, right? Prabhuji used to tell it, like even Brahmins will be in the mode of goodness, but they will be still attached with the material things. And even though being in goodness also, we cannot elevate up. Only like above the pure goodness, we can achieve Krishna Prema. Like we can move towards the transcendental love of God. Like devotional service. Maybe that Vishuddha Sattva is above mode of goodness.
That must be Shuddha Sattva, no, Mataji. We'll ask you, Ranchor Prabhu.
Yeah.
Ranchor Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. The Shuddha Sattva and Vishuddha Sattva are same only. There's no difference.
Same. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So what is the difference between just goodness and pure goodness, or Sattva Guna and Shuddha Sattva? That part we should understand in more detail actually. So everybody can just share their opinion. What do they think? What is it between what is it, Sattva Guna and Shuddha Sattva? I think Niveda Mataji briefly told, but I think we can elaborate a little more.
I will talk last, Prabhuji. I've just spoken. Okay. Others will want to speak.
Yeah. So anybody can try. Sushil Prabhu, Chitra Mataji. Yeah.
Sattva Guna is above the three modes. If you go above the three modes, goodness, passion, and then you are in the Sattva Guna. That I understood clearly, Prabhuji.
Satyamataji, what do you think?
And when you said that Vishuddha Sattva and Sattva Guna is same, so
No,
in the
Mataji, so
spiritual,
what I told is Vishuddha Sattva and Shuddha Sattva are same. Vishuddha and Shuddha, no, but they mean the same thing.
yeah, they're
But
the same.
yeah, but Sattva is part of the three modes. So basically, we have
The Sattva Guna is
Rajoguna.
about three modes, Mataji, Prabhuji.
No, see, what are the three modes? Goodness, passion, and ignorance,
Goodness,
right? So
passion, and
goodness is
ignorance.
Sattva-guna.
Yes,
Sattva-guna,
yes.
Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. So Sattva-guna is the normal goodness, which is part of the three modes.
Understood. Understood.
Yeah.
And the person who goes above the three modes is Vishuddha Sattva.
Yes. So the question now, we have to understand a little more is that what is the difference between Sattva-guna and Vishuddha Sattva? So that I think we should clearly understand, so that we know how devotional service is different from other activities. So that I think is the question which you have to think. So anybody, all of you can try. There's nothing to lose. Sushil Prabhu or Chetan Prabhu or Madhavi Mataji, anybody can try.
Prabhuji, it may be wrong, but I'm thinking that when you're in the Sattva Guna, you may be also, attached to the other two gunas also. But that is, you can be, fall down, and you can be, go to that mode of passion and mode of ignorance. That's what I feel, Prabhuji. And
Yes.
pure goodness is absolutely above. They will never have any sense of mode of passion or ignorance. They're completely above the three modes.
Yes, that is right actually. So basically, Vishuddha Sattva means it is transcendental, right? So basically, what is transcendental is something which is beyond the material, what you call material realm or the material control, right? So the material, three modes of nature, right? That is part of the material energy of the Lord, which actually the living entities are bound by. And when somebody is transcending the three modes, which is Sattva, Rajo, Tamo, then actually they come to the transcendental platform, which is spiritual platform, which is called Vishuddha Sattva. That is a right definition, but I think we should still go more deeper and understand.
Yeah, one more thing is Prabhuji, like being in these modes means we'll still be disturbed by the whatever, like still attached with material things, like disturbed by sufferings and all. But one who is above the mode of goodness will be undisturbed by any kind of distress or happiness, and will be like always thinking of Lord Krishna, like remembering him always, and performing his devotional service, only doing the service towards Lord Krishna in all any circumstances. And like what our Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj are there, no? Like they are beyond the modes of nature, and only their duty is like spreading love of God, and preaching, spreading to even to each and every soul.
Yes. So practically, from a practical perspective, how do we understand? No, can we be situated in Shuddha Sattva?
We currently we are not, but we can try, like if you are not getting disturbed by this happiness or distress, whatever is happening to us, and only making our mind to think only of remembering Krishna, and always whatever if it is coming also, it is because of by the Lord wish, then we can raise above the modes of happiness, and detach from the material things.
Yes. So yeah, right, Nandaji. So
By
others
more
also.
like doing devotional service, preaching and all, and basically totally involving in the Krishna consciousness activity. No other materialistic activity.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, but we should do our duty, no?
What is our duty?
What is our duty in this world? What family, what we have been born into. We have to do all our duties, no, but not be affected, correct?
Yeah, Nandaji. So that is the initial stage.
Okay.
But so gradually, we should become more and more, involved in the devotional activity. So as a beginning, we should try to balance everything. Okay, but it is not necessary that we have to give up our duties. That is not required. But see, but that we already discussed in the Varnashrama system, no, Mataji. So
Yes.
basically, Grihastha has a duty like 50 years, no, he has to take care of family. And after 50 years, the children are supposed to be grown up, or whenever the children is grown up, right? Then actually, the responsibilities has to be handed over, or the family responsibilities they should take care. And no, then we should involve more and more in devotional activity, so that finally, we should come to a stage where we are completely absorbed in the devotional activities of the Lord, right? Then I think our duties should be not there. In the sense, the material duties we should minimize, so that we can see, like from all the examples. So we can actually see, the thing is that it is not, it is like, no, like we cannot put the legs in two boats forever, right? For some time, we have to gradually put the one leg in the new boat and slowly to take the other leg, right? So we should do gradually. So we should reduce our material activities over the period of time. So initially we are completely materialistic, right? We don't have any spiritual activities in the beginning when we started devotional service. But then gradually, we started doing devotional activities. So we have to slowly increase our devotional activity and reduce the material activities. And finally, like we should completely be in the material activity. Otherwise, it is difficult. Actually, see, the problem is that unless and until we become fully Krishna conscious, in the sense we are able to always remember the Lord and become purified ourselves, we cannot go back to the spiritual world, right? So this can take many lifetimes. But if you really want to go in one lifetime, then we should be more intensified in our spiritual activity. In the then completely focusing on the spiritual activity, then only we can go back in this lifetime. Otherwise, we'll have to continue the next lifetime. So it's all our individual call. Each person, based on their desire and how much we are able to dedicate accordingly, we can actually achieve success in one lifetime or multiple lifetime, Mataji. So duty is actually important, but actually gradually, we should hand over actually, the duties to other people, like in the sense, like our children, etc. Right? And then we should more and more focus. The point is that unless until we achieve the necessary purity, right, or the qualifications, like to enter the spiritual world, we will not be able to go, no, there. So that has to be achieved. That's ultimately we have to come to that stage where we are completely detached from material activities, and then completely attached to spiritual activities, and always able to remember the Lord, right? The Krishna consciousness means always be conscious of the Lord, right? So our consciousness is purified, and we don't mind or our activities, like we'll always be dwelling in the spiritual topics of the Lord. Not, we don't have material topics to think about, or or act. So gradually we should come to that. A person can externally perform activities. There's no, see, that's what actually is that, like we see many devotees, right? So they may be doing their duties. Also, they are performing the Krishna conscious activity. So it all depends on us. If you are able to do the duty without being disturbed, in the sense, like still we are able to become 100% Krishna consciousness, then it is possible. But that is generally difficult, actually, right? No, generally it is difficult to be both, uh, successful at the same way. So slowly, based on our ability, we should, gradually increase our Krishna conscious activity. So basically, the question is that ultimately, at the end of the day, we have to think that, one is that we should be ready to go back to spiritual world. That is one thing. If Lord comes and call you, are you ready? In the sense, we should not be at that time. We should not be worried about, okay, my, like I have to take care of this. I could, that kind of attachment we should not have. We should be ready immediately. That is one thing. And second thing is that we should be also qualified. Basically, become purified actually without any material attachments, desires. Uh, so those kind of things, Mataji. So in the beginning, yeah, it is important actually that we balance. But as we progress, in more and more serious we become, then I think we should be more and more involved in the devotional activities more.
So we should be qualified to go back.
Yes.
And so first is be ready always.
That readiness will come only when we become qualified actually. They are kind of mutually dependent. So basically readiness will only come when we become detached from all the material activities, right? If you are having some attachment, then I think we will not feel like we will feel that I want to live again, right? So when actually suppose many people, like sometimes we come to situation, right, the life and death situation comes, like we have many devotees, like for example, like affected by COVID, or some or other, we are hospitalized and we are in a very critical condition, right? So at that time, even though many of maybe devotee, but still we may be worrying about so many things about our material life. In the sense, what will happen to my family? right? There's so many things. If you are worrying like that, means then because we are still attached to the material things. So when we detachment, when you are actually detached, see, basically all these things also is important. There are two important things actually. One is the knowledge, the spiritual knowledge, and second is the mercy of devotees. Both are important actually. See, only by one we can't achieve. I mean to say it's possible by mercy of devotees alone. That is possible, but by knowledge alone we can't achieve that state. But at the same time, knowledge is also important. The knowledge actually can bring detachment, right? See, somebody who's actually ignorant, doesn't know about the Atma Tattva, about the soul and other things, he will naturally be attached, right? Because he'll think that, okay, this is everything. No, he doesn't know beyond that. But somebody who's knowing the spiritual knowledge, Atma Tattva, like, actually what is soul, and how soul have existence beyond one birth, all these things. So that person will be more detached. But nevertheless, only by knowledge, no, the detachment cannot be complete, right? Unless until we are attached to the Lord. So the attachment of the Lord is also required. So detachment from the material things, knowledge, by knowledge we have to detach from material things, and also we have to become attached to the Lord. We have to develop love of God, right? Devotional attitude is required. Strong attachment. That 9 stages of bhakti is there. So we have to go through the different stages. So that is also a measurement of the progress, right? Ado Shraddha Tada Sadhu Sangha Bhajana Kriya Anartha Nivritti. Anartha Nivritti is a stage where we get stuck, getting detached or getting rid of more material attachment. Anartha Nivritti, right? Then after that come Nishta, strong, full determination and fully fixed. Nishta, right? Then Asakti, right? Strong attachment. Then Bhava and Prema. So this is also a measurement of our progress, right? So the Shuddha Sattva, etc., will come on a very, very advanced stage, like in a Bhava stage, for example. So that is one part. And the other thing is that, see, the Shuddha Sattva, actually, see what Prabhupada says, like, this transcendental platform. See, when somebody becomes completely qualified and pure, then he will remain in that transcendental platform. But even a neophyte or an Madhyamadhikari also can temporarily, we can also temporarily be in the Vishuddha Sattva stage. Whenever we perform any devotional activity, it is mentioned that we are actually in the pure goodness stage temporarily, because we are connected to the Lord, right? So Lord actually is completely pure. He's spiritual in nature. We are also actually spiritual, but we are covered in the material world by so many contamination. So, but whenever we do the spiritual activity, right? Because the Lord is spiritual, and any activity which is connected to me is spiritual. Whenever we perform spiritual activities, we also come to the transcendental platform at that time. As long as we perform that, when we are in association of devotees, let's say when we are chanting the holy name sincerely, or when we perform any devotional activity, like maybe performing arti or anything which is doing to the Lord, during that time we are actually in that spiritual platform temporarily, right? And then then after that, when we are, see, just the example Prabhupada is giving is like the fire, right? The fire actually is spiritual. Let's say fire is considered as spiritual. Then when we keep an iron rod, right, in the fire, then temporarily, after some time, the iron rod also becomes red hot, right? And it acquires the qualities of fire. So this red hot iron rod can behave like a fire. It can ignite something. So similarly, when we are part and parcel of the Lord, and we are like sparks out of the big fire. And when we fall to the material world, the spark is separated from the Lord, and it becomes extinguished, or it becomes like covered, like it's like a fire, some what you call fuel, which is charcoal or something, right? It's covered by ash. Temporarily we are in that stage, so that's why devotional service is the process by which we can fan, and then again the fire can be ignited. But the point is that whenever we do a spiritual activity, is like the iron rod coming in contact with fire, and then during that time we also become spiritualized, in the sense we are in that transcendental platform of Vishuddha Sattva. And then when we come down, so basically the point is that bhakti, pure devotional service is something which can elevate the living entity into Vishuddha Sattva, right? And then when we are fully fixed up in devotional service, when we are completely fixed up, then actually we will remain in that platform, right? And then otherwise, actually, if we are in the beginning stages, we will temporarily can be elevated to Vishuddha Sattva stage. So this is something practical actually. Whenever all of us, when we are doing devotional service, we can be elevated to this platform temporarily.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. Niveda Mataji, I think please
Yes.
go on. I mean, I think I should not talk too much. You should be talking.
No, Prabhuji, I don't know. Yeah, whatever, like it is said, like in the first paragraph, we all know that the relationship of the living entity with the Supreme Lord, as described by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like Jivera Swarupa and Krishna Nityadasa. The living entity is an eternal servant of Krishna, the Supreme God. Therefore, to act in that relationship, one must perform sadhana bhakti on the or the prescribed duties of service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is called Abhidya Gnana. And the result of this is the result of the devotional service is called Prayojana Gnana, which is the ultimate goal of life is to go back to Godhead. That is the ultimate goal of life. So, and in the Nectar of Devotion, it is mentioned that spirit soul in his original condition is always joyful, blissful, eternal, and full of knowledge. Only by his implication in the material activities, he has become miserable, temporary, and full of ignorance. This is due to vikarma. Vikarma means action which should not be done. Therefore, we must practice sadhana bhakti, which means to offer mangalarti, that is deity worship in the morning, to refrain from certain material activities, to offer obeisances to the spiritual master, and also to follow many other rules and regulations and the 4 regulative principles and all. These practices will help us to become, it will help us to get cured of this madness of ignorance. They basically help us. And as a man's basically mental disease is cured by the psychiatrist, same way the sadhana bhakti cures the conditioned soul of the conditioned soul from his madness, which is spelled because it is all due to the material illusion, spell of Maya. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is also mentioned that in the beginning there must be a faith. Then one becomes interested in associating with pure devotees. Then after one is initiated by the spiritual master and executes the regulative principles under his orders, thus one is freed from all unwanted habits and becomes firmly fixed in devotional service. Thereafter, one develops taste and attachment. This is the way of sadhana bhakti. The execution of devotional service according to the regulative principles, gradually emotions intensify, and finally there is a awakening of love. This is the gradual development of love of Godhead for the devotee interested in Krishna consciousness. And this is also mentioned that
This is Mataji reading from somewhere.
Yeah, as nectar of this is Chaitanya Charitamrita 22.14 to 15, Prabhuji, the translation.
Yeah. So this is what is 9 stages we just discussed, no? The other Shraddha, that's the same thing you're telling.
Yes, yes, yes.
Other Shraddha, Tada, Sadhu Sangha, right? Vajana Kriya, that's what it is.
Okay, okay, Prabhuji.
You can map it now, you can see the same thing there, right?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji, correct.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and there is in Nectar of Devotion, it is mentioned like this sadhana bhakti or the practice of devotional service may also be divided into 2 parts. The first part is called service according to regulative principles. One has to follow these different regulative principles by the order of spiritual master and the strength of authoritative scriptures, and there can be no questions of refusals. This is called Vaidhi or regulated. One has to do it without argument. The other part of sadhana bhakti is called Raganu bhakti. Raganu refers to the point at which by following the regulative principles, one becomes little more attached to Krishna and executes devotional service out of natural love. These are the points I collected for the devotional service. And in it is also mentioned like Krishna says all of if they have to be a real path of devotional service under the direction of spiritual master, then that is only it is called as sadhana bhakti. So to act under the direction of spiritual master means by knowing the shastra and all is it is called as sadhana bhakti. Okay, and we already mentioned like Prabhuji has already mentioned like Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha. These are the processes of devotional services. Yeah, I think first the regulative principles, the first paragraph, basically it mentioned, it is meant all, we understood, means we were able to discuss. And in the second part, any points from the second paragraph, whatever like Srila Rupa Goswami is also giving some advices in the second paragraph. Any points any devotees can share? like from second paragraph, any points? It is mentioned like being enthusiastic and how, like any points on those things.
So I think this part somebody can explain. This is important to understand. The highlighted part, no? Am I audible, devotees?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Then we can ask, maybe call name and ask. I think it's better, Mataji.
Yeah.
Chetan Prabhu, are you there? Can you elaborate this line, this part?
Yes. Let me read once again, and I'll elaborate.
I'll read Prabhu, like this is written like this. In this regard, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura remarks that the cultivation of knowledge by philosophical speculation, the collection of mundane opulence by advancement of fruitive activities, and the desire for yoga siddhis, material perfection, are all contrary to principles of devotional service.
Okay. I don't know, Mataji, Prabhuji.
Okay, then no problem. Anybody else? Satyam Mataji, Chitra Mataji, or Sushil Prabhu? Sushil Prabhu, would you like to try? What is this part?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. I will try. So what I understood from this is that this sadhana bhakti or the devotional service, which is a transcendental activities, although it is not that it is actually much tougher to achieve to that stage, but still to to explain the devotional service meaning. Here also, Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur has explained that philosophical knowledge, by philosophical knowledge, and by the combination of philosophical knowledge and the uh, sadhana bhakti, we can get rid of the we can get rid of the fruitive activities or any desire that we have in our mind, which is towards the material and not the devotional. So basically, in the devotional service platform, these are all means all the desires which are materialistic and fruitive activities, those don't take any part. Actually, we should not these are like hurdles for our devotional advancements. Means these material desires, then these are like hurdles in our devotional path, devotion or spiritual path. So we should with the help of this philosophical knowledge, we should get rid of these things actually. So that's what I understood from this.
Okay, thanks for.
And Prabhuji, is that like Bhaktivedanta Swami Saraswati Thakur is mentioning about Mayavadis here, because they will try to, like, because of their own concatenation and try to mislead the people, like, and then divert the devotional path, like being Brahman realization and all, not knowing fully, completely understanding about the ultimate truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, then he is telling we should not, like, we should not follow those things, which is all non-permanent, and will not achieve anything out of it. And only the thing is regulative principles of devotional service. Like
Yeah.
that is the only way to achieve.
Yeah, Mataji. So
progress.
I think it may not be just Mayavadis. So all kind of categories it is mentioned.
Yeah.
Like in that. So generally, yeah. So Mayavadis are more prominent. So the thing is that this is actually in Bhagavatam also. In many places in scriptures, in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna has mentioned that basically not by performing austerities, not by doing studying the Vedas, not by not by performing yajnas. By all, in none of this process you can understand me, or you can
Yes,
attain
sir.
pure devotion to me. So, so Lord is also told. So the point is that generally, people who are not very advanced in spiritual knowledge, right? People who are generally populous, they think that all these are spiritual activities. For example, generally most of the people, so-called spiritual activity people, they are more interested in reading scriptures. In the sense, like maybe they many people say, I'm reading, now I'm studying Vedas, no, or I am studying Vedanta. No, many people are there actually, in today's world also. So they think that okay, this is actually the spiritual path, that is sufficient by just by many people are interested in that, because they have an interest, or they want to satisfy their desire. Because some people are inclined, intellectual people are inclined to read and learn, right? So they will be just attracted to this speculations, philosophical speculation. They are interested. Like there are a lot of people. No, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time also there were many. Even Sarvam Bhattacharya and many others were the Prakashananda Saraswati. So most of the people who are in the spiritual path at that time, even now also, the people who are intellectual class, they are only interested in kind of like things which are appealing to them. No, in the sense that if there are different philosophies or word jugglery, they are interested in reading such kind of things, and then trying to basically they think that okay, I'm very intelligent person, I know this is satisfying my intelligence or ego. So that kind of people are there. So by doing that philosophical speculation without any devotional service, if you keep on doing that for many lifetimes, no, you will not still achieve the Lord actually. You will just be in that platform only. You will not make advancement actually by in philosophical speculation. Similarly, the same case with the fruitive activities. No, fruitive activities mean the karma ganda, right? Basically, performing yajnas and different
Yajnas.
sacrifices which are mentioned in Vedas, right? These are fruitive activities. Basically, they will have some activity, and then you will get some result.
Results. Yeah.
Similarly, the jnana, no, these are other three paths. See, we have four paths in four ladders, four steps in the yoga ladder, right? So karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, and bhakti yoga. So the four are mentioned here actually. So the first three, it is mentioned that the first three cannot actually attain devotional service. Right? Fourth one actually, the devotional service is the perfect and only path by which you can attain the Supreme Lord, right? So all other three paths are actually, what is it? They are contrary to principles of devotional service. So this is to educate the people who are so-called people who think that I'm a spiritualist, no, I'm on the spiritual path. For them, actually, this is mentioned so that they should understand that this path actually alone cannot give us the complete perfection. So many people may think like that. No, this is the point actually. We are just by doing other three things paths alone, we cannot achieve the topmost platform. How do you?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
I remember when Mataji was taking a Bhagavad Gita class, there was, I don't remember which chapter, 4 types of people who cannot go to the Lord. And out of that was this mental speculation and was there.
Yeah,
4 types.
so Chaturvida, no, what is that actually? Namam Duskritano Muda, Prapadyante Naradama, Maya Bhagratnana, Asurim Bhava Mashida. So these are the four kind of people who doesn't come to Krishna.
Doesn't come.
Yeah, and then Chaturvida Bhajante Mam, what that? That is Artho, Artharthi, Jitnasu, Nani, right? These are the four categories who actually comes to the Lord. And then so that is mentioned in Bhagavad, 4 who comes and 4 doesn't come.
4 doesn't come.
Yes. So Namami Duskritino Muda, Prabhadyande Naradama. So Duskritino Muda, the people who are grossly and foolish. Namami Duskritino Muda, Prabhadyande Naradama, the lowest among the mankind, right? Naradama, Maya Abhagrita Jnana. So is Maya Abhagrita Jnana is a category of this category what we are discussing, kind of the so-called intelligent people, the people whose intelligence has been stolen by Maya. So these are the general so-called people we see in the society, right? Who consider that they are very learned, very intelligent, but actually their actual intelligence, real intelligence, is stolen by Maya. They think that they are intelligent, but actually they are not really intelligent. So this is the Maya Abhagrata and Asurim Bhava Mashrita. People are demoniac in nature. So these four people will not. So the Maya Abhagrata is so-called intellectual people, who actually claim that okay, I have read Vedanta, I know everything. That kind of people, no, like I know Vedas. Oh, I know my family, from beginning only is, like we are all pious people. They are thinking like that, but actually they don't really know the real essence. No, they might have read Vedas and many scriptures they might have read, and then but they have not come to the right conclusion. What is the real purpose of my life? See, if somebody has really understood the right conclusion, then we can see the person's behavior. Whether he is attached to material things, what is he doing? Is he addicted to like what you call sense gratification? Is he addicted to intoxication? So first of all, that is a basic quality actually. That doesn't mean that is a pure devotee, but a basic a brahmana, like is the first to become a brahmana and then a Vaishnava, right? So to become a Brahmana or a basic cultured person, no, you should be following the 4 regulative principles, right? And then you are not attached to material things. So these are the things. So basically our knowledge and our activities should be correlated. And if you are really come to the real conclusion, then actually no, we should see that from his behavior. What is the behavior, right? So that's what actually it is.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one more thing is, Prabhuji, this regulative, doing devotional service via regulative principles is only for neophytes, isn't it, Prabhuji? Not for the already like.
So
Yeah.
we are actually see the whatever topic we are discussing, right? Is the regulated devotional service today, no?
Yeah.
What is it actually? What is it? Sadhana Bhakti. See, Sadhana Bhakti is the regulated devotional service. Okay, so we are actually following Sadhana Bhakti, all of us now. So in the beginning, it is Sadhana Bhakti, that is the process, and then gradually it can come to the higher platforms like Raganuga Bhakti,
Yeah.
right? That is a spontaneous devotional service to the Lord. In the beginning, it is practice, like that practice is, like Prabhupada always clarified that it is not like an artificial imposition, no, like in the sense we, no, but actually it is something like a child who is learning to walk. The
Yes.
child is having an innate capacity to walk. Only thing is that he needs some practice again, right? So similarly, every living entity has an innate ability to love, you know, to have every living entity has devotional service to the Lord. But actually, it is because it is covered by so many conditioning, so for a long period of time, no, it is not coming automatically. But just by doing a small practice, no, then actually that can be again awakened. So the devotional service, which is in the beginning, is called Raganuga Bhakti, which is the regulated devotional service, where actually there is the rules and regulations, right? That actually is a beginning stage. And then as we progress, no, when we become a very advanced devotee, then actually it has become spontaneous devotional service called Raganuga Bhakti.
Yes.
That shloka is that, no, Bahunam Janmanam Ande, Jnanavan Mam Prapadyante, Vasudeva Sarvamiri, Samahatma Sudurlabha. So what is mentioned about it, Jnani, is like this. Bahunam Janmanam Ande, Jnanavan Mam Prapadyante. So after many, many lifetimes, a person who is in the path of Jnana, right, knowledge, he after many, many lifetimes, he comes to the conclusion that Vasudeva Sarvamiri. No, everything is actually Vasudeva. No, everything is actually Supreme Lord. No, so Bahunam Janmanam Ande, Jnanavan Mam Prapadyante. After that, after many, many lifetimes of seeking the path of Jnana, he actually finally surrenders and understanding that Vasudeva is the cause of everything. So that clearly says that a Jnani is inferior to a Bhakta. Then there is another shloka in Bhagavad Gita which says that Yogi is inferior to Bhakta. Anybody can remember the shloka? Which is the shloka? There's a shloka which clearly says that Yogi is inferior to a Bhakta. Krishna, am I audible?
Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, but sorry, Prabhuji, I don't know.
What
Chetan
about you?
Prabhu might know.
Yes, Chetan Prabhu, do you know?
In Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, Prabhuji? It is.
Bhagavad Gita, Prabhu.
No, Prabhuji, I don't know.
Okay, I think Niveda Mataji knows, I think.
Prabhuji, I'm not getting.
Basically, the shloka says that of all the yogis, one who is always remembering me in devotion service, he is the topmost.
Okay.
Anybody want to try?
Prabhuji, it's a continuation of that air, water, everything, no? In the air, all those things, he's the highest. It comes in continuation of that, the shloka, Prabhuji. I can't remember.
That much I don't know, Mataji. I don't remember the sequence, but only the shloka I know. Okay, I'll tell you that shloka we have discussed many times. The shloka is Yoginam avi sarvesham madgadaya nandalatmana shraddhavan bhajade yomam same yukta tamomada. That is the shloka. Okay, Yoginam avi sarvesham. Okay, of all the yogis, Yoginam avi sarvesham madgadena antaratmana. One who is always meditating upon me, right? Yoginam avi sarvesham madgadena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajade yomam. Okay, so in that bhaja, that word is important. So bhaja is always used with devotional service. So of all the yogis, one who is always remembering me and who is actually worshipping me in devotional service. Bhajate Shraddhavan, Bhajate Yomam, Samaya Yukta Tamomada. He is the topmost. This sloka also, no. So basically, from these two sloka, we can understand that neither the Gnani or nor the yogi, is the topmost. The bhakta is actually, the Lord is directly saying this. The devotee is always superior.
Yes.
I think these slokas are important actually. So whenever we preach, because this question will always be there. Many people think that okay, Gnani is better, or a yogi is better, because people think that okay, bhakta is a lazy person. He doesn't want to do anything, or because he is not intelligent, he is actually doing devotional service. But actually, that understanding is the general understanding. So this we have to clarify this. Then I think we should know these slokas. We should remember, and we can use that. Okay, devotee. So I think Niveda, you can proceed.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. The next is according to the shloka 2.69. It is here. It is mentioned like what is the difference between a spiritualistic yogi and a materialistic person? Two intelligent persons, intelligent men has been defined here, and the differences has been mentioned here.
We can ask Mataji, we can check with others.
Yes.
Let them explain. You can try.
Yes.
Then you can add point, Mataji.
Yeah.
I think this is favorite sloka of Chetan Prabhu. He likes this sloka very much. Chetan Prabhu, would you like to put some light?
Yes, Prabhuji. About this sloka, Prabhuji. So, means God is saying that one who is like awakening, one who is awakened, means okay, Prabhuji. Give me one second, Prabhuji. Is one stage who is actually a day, it is night for others, and one is it is night, it is day for others. So it is something like Prabhupada is telling that we actually in the material world we actually go for sanctification when we wake up, and we actually go for pituitary activities, and for getting fruitive results. So we are desiring for, but we have some desires that is fruitive desires, and we are hankering for that. And when we don't get that result, we're getting angry, and we are working hard till we get it, or else we are feeling we are not satisfied at all. When we come to the introspective stage, he's already in the stance position. Means he is transcendental position. So when he wake up, he doesn't see for productivity activities. He sees for what is the relationships. Means going to within the persons to within the person. He sees everything is related. Everything is related. Means like it is something like Govindam Sarva Karana Karana, means is the person. It is everything is done by the Lord. Every process, every stage, every in materiality, in spirituality, and he sees every in every person he sees a Lord, and he sees Samadarshina. He sees everything is a Samadarshina. So in this the Lord is saying that in the introspective space, what he sees is a night, and for that because this that Vedas and fruitive knowledge, it is actually it is a blank, it's a night thing for the interpretive page. And what the eyes seen by the interpretive page, it is a day for the interpretive space, but it is night for the who is doing the fruitivity activities, Prabhuji. So something it is in this is the thing, and in devotive perspective, I think you can. This is the problem. This is the thing.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Yeah, we can ask others also.
Yes, yes, sir.
Thanks.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, like any points like from Satya Mataji or Chaitra, Sushil Prabhuji or Chitra Mataji.
Prabhuji, here night means ignorance and day means when you are self-realized, where you know who you are, what you want, which is your path, which is your final goal. That is the day. And night means they are just running after self-gratification of material things, enjoying in themselves, don't know who they are, don't know what the goodness is, don't even know the path of devotional service. That is night. So the self-realized people, that is during the day, the self-realized people, even if they are among the ignorant people, they do not let go of their devotional service and the righteous work. They keep on, on their path of self-realization. While these people are wasting time just going after materialistic, good enjoyment, materialistic world. These are the two type of people in this world, two type of intelligent people. One that is running behind materialistic activities and fruitive activities, and the other one who is going on the path of self-realization and doing devotional service because he knows what his final goal is.
Yes, Mataji. That's right. So somebody can explain, no? See why day for an introspective sage is night for the other person, and vice versa. Why it is mentioned like that? What does it implies? Or can somebody give some example to some other examples to understand this little more better?
Prabhuji, basically what I felt was night means ignorance, as Chitra Mataji said, and ignorance means you are asleep. You don't know what is your self. You don't know self-realization. You don't know the purpose of this body, why we have got this human life. First thing is we have not realized that we are the body, we are the spirit soul and not the body. And that second is part and parcel. And third is this thing is to go back to Godhead. So this lack of self-realization in a materialistic person is like being asleep, that is being ignorant in darkness. So that becomes night for a materialistic person. That's how I think, Prabhuji. And this is actually day for one who is a sage. And that's what.
Yeah,
That's how I thought it was.
that is true, Mataji. But yeah, correct. We can
And
go some more
Prabhuji,
detail. Yeah, near
yeah,
the
whatever like Matajis and Prabhuji are told, it is all like same in pattern. Only even I want to add the words like that is day and night are compared as two opposites, like from one day and night, and it is compared with the materialistic and the introspective stage and like spirituality and in terms of spirituality. So there is a set like knowledge and ignorance and illusion and reality. These are the two sets. Like whatever knowledge for is considered as a knowledge for a materialistic is an ignorance for the spiritualist or an introspective sage. And whatever in ignorance for an is whatever ignorance for an materialistic for is an illusion like knowledge for a spiritualistic. So illusion. So materialistic that is vice versa. Like it is a two sets: knowledge and ignorance, and illusion and reality. So the day and nights are compared between the materialistic and introspective sage or a spiritual men and a spiritual platform. So here, like the materialistic men, they are only their goal of life is sense gratification, and they are only considered. They think of bodily concept, and their false ego is the centered. So they're centered with the false ego. They're like showing off the things. They think showing off and is the only path for success in the materialistic people. And enjoying propensities, considering themselves as the supreme controllers and all. These are the on the platform of like these are the materialistic person's characteristics. But when come to introspective sage, he considers only Krishna's pleasure is the goal of life. Like there is no sense enjoyment because they have already tasted the actually the higher taste. So they will in the introspective sage considers only he will consider himself as a self-realized soul, not on the not as a body. So and perform all the devotional activities according to his the knowledge. So and they feel like we are very tiny and insignificant in front of God, and because of that they will not push themselves as forefront as the other intelligent materialistic intelligent men. They want to prove themselves, put themselves forefront, and like that. But in spiritually, in introspective sage, they will be with above this all. They are self-realized. But in this is the opposites kind. It is a reference. In like materialistic people tell this is the only life, and we have to we have to enjoy this without knowing what is, without understanding what is enjoyment and what is our role, aim of life. But a self-realized self-realized person, they think we have many lives, and we actually we have purifying we have purifying duties to perform, and to go back to Godhead, and to serve him eternally, to serve Lord Krishna eternally.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Yeah, so some couple of small examples I can give to understand this very easily. So I think we have discussed it earlier, and remember, multiple times I think we discussed this. So this, for example, why it is exactly opposite. See, what is day for an awakened soul is night for the normal person, right? And what is night? So basically, what it means is that the perspectives are opposite actually. So for example, one example is a mad person, right? So if there's sometimes it happens that if you go to a asylum, right, mental asylum, or like for example Limans or somewhere, right? So they say that a person who is there, right, who is being treated there, he may think that the people who are other people are mad actually, right? And we actually see, we know that the person there is mad, but sometimes the mad person thinks that these other people are all mad. Okay, so sometimes it happens actually. So another thing is that the devotee and non-devotee, right? See, a devotee understands what is the reality, what is the purpose of human life, who are we, and then devotee understand that he is utilizing his time in the best way, right? What non-devotees think, we have a lot of examples in our family, right? What others think about us, they think that okay, these people are just wasting their time, what they're doing all the day, they are just chanting the holy name Hare Krishna, they are just chanting Hare Krishna, they are not taking responsibility of the family. They are just wasting their time, they don't have any intelligence, they are foolish. And then when we try to tell about things, they think that scientists, for example, scientists think that they know everything, they know how the world is created, but actually we know from scriptures how actually things are. So each of them think the other person is kind of ignorant, right? So basically it's opposite. See, what actually we consider as light or knowledge, right, the other people, the materialistic people, think that it is not knowledge. It is, they are ignorant, they are thinking. Similarly, we think that these people, materialistic people, are completely ignorant, they are think they are based on the false knowledge, they are thinking that that is everything. So these are the two different opposite perspectives, right, where one actually is actual real light and other is darkness, right? But the people who are ignorant, they think that darkness is light, whatever their knowledge is the real light, and what actual real knowledge is darkness. So that is how we have to understand the two different opposite perspectives. Does it make sense this way?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Chitra Mataji and Satya Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Satya
Yes,
Mataji,
Prabhuji.
clear, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, I've understood it, but becomes very difficult to explain. That fourth
Yeah.
line, the introspective sage remains alert in the night of the materialistic man. I think that sums it, Prabhuji, but very difficult to
So these
I've
examples are
understood it.
easy to understand. So when we are explaining this to
Yes.
other, no,
Yes.
we can explain like this. So basically, the key point here is that it's are two different perspectives. Basically it is telling that there are two kind of people, and then there are two factors, right? Two times, night and day, right? So that is what actually. So two people, and then each of them think is like his day is better, and night is so basically like that. So these are two different people and then two different perspectives, and each person thinks that they are see basically black. So day and night can be considered as knowledge and ignorance, right? Or positive and negative. So one person think that his positive is the real positive, but other person think that his positive is the real positive, right? But both positive cannot be true because they're all contradictory, right? So only one can be true. So what is the real truth? So the person who is introspective or the real knowledgeable person is understanding is right, and other person's understanding is wrong, right? That's the end of the day. So here actually we can think about introspective stages. We can consider it like a devotee. A devotee who actually who actually is perfect. He has the perfect knowledge. He has a real understanding, right? So but if you really see today's practically, if you go and meet people, right, the people are not ready to accept what we are saying. They think that their understanding is correct, like, oh, I have seen the world so much, I have seen so many, I had so much experience, so my understanding is right. They don't have any knowledge about spiritual topics, right? They don't know what is soul, who are they, but still they think that their knowledge is perfect, and they think that we are all foolish. These people are looking into some old book, which I know, like utopian ideas, which is not practical, and then they are just wasting their life. They are actually really thinking like that about us. And we also maybe, in the beginning we may not be sure, we may also might not be sure whether this path is the right path, but gradually when we make progress, then we will be convinced, we are convinced that no, this is the right path. And then whatever knowledge we are getting, that is the topmost knowledge, right? So this is what actually, they're just two opposite perspectives. But this is very important to understand, because we encounter this in our life actually, when we practice devotional service, we encounter this fact that no, people look upon us like this. And no, we also understand that we feel pity on people because no, they don't have the real knowledge. They are actually just wasting their life, for mundane things, right? So the most confidential knowledge they don't have. So from that perspective, this is a very good what you call point to understand, and we should be convinced about it.
But they won't be interested also in knowing, no, Prabhuji, even if you try to tell, no? Isn't it?
Depends, Mataji. So see, all of us have come like that only, in one way. See, initially we were not
Yeah,
much interested.
yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah, so it is possible. So we have to see by our capability, it may be difficult to change people, but by mercy of the Lord, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Acharyas, they can actually influence. Because the Lord is situated in the heart of the devotee, everyone, right? So
Correct.
only by many miracles happen, right? People who are extremely atheist, criminals, those kind of people have become devotees. So there is always hope actually. I don't. We have to just try our part, and the rest of things Lord will take care. Like that, we have to think, or Acharyas will do.
Correct.
It is very difficult to change people. I understand practically. We see so many people are there. Yeah, we
Yes,
have a lot of
Prabhuji.
experience. No, like that is true, Mataji. Yes. So each of us are convinced. No, each of the two parties are convinced that their knowledge is best. So that is why the difficulty. Unless until they start thinking, we have to provoke their thought actually by giving examples and things. Or sometimes the Lord creates some instances in their life, then they will change. Otherwise they may not change. So
Prabhuji,
yes.
we are not exposed to all this when we are in our growing years, If we
Mm-hmm.
are exposed to this type of culture, as we are growing, at least these thoughts will come. You understand,
Yes.
Prabhuji? Like we
Yeah.
had model science class and all that, which was really good. I studied in a missionary school, but we never had anything like this. If this was part of the curriculum, I wouldn't have had to wait so late, no, to understand.
Yes, Mataji. They say for everything
That
there's a time. And I mean to say, even actually, some they say one way they say that devotional service is completely, ahaiduki apratihada. And in a sense, it's costless actually. But on the other side, it's difficult to understand fully. Many times it may be also that we have to be purified actually. We have to get the qualification also to take up devotional service sometimes. So that may come sometimes, by the mercy of devotees. So even though intellectually we may be very great, no, but to get the spiritual what you call mercy, right, or the qualification to take up devotional service, that also we may have to wait actually because we may not be yet qualified. That is one thing. See, it is told that this is difficult to understand because many places it is told that no devotional services doesn't depend on the karma. It is mentioned like that. But sometimes we see that no the piety is, if it is there's no piety, then such people find it very difficult to take up devotional service. No, so though it is not dependent, but sometimes many times we see that actually practically, people who don't have any piety, right? So they see there are many devotees, who did not take it up in the first instance. They met devotees in some part of the life. Many of them met when they were young, but somehow or other, no, they did not take it up seriously. Then after many years later in the life, no, they take it up. No, even I am also an example like that. No, I actually met devotees very early. No, like in somewhat 1998, I met devotees. But at that time, no, like I was working in the hospital, ISKCON hospital only, Bhaktivedanta hospital. Somehow or other, I did not have the enough this thing to take up devotional service. No, like I was not much serious, or no, I was not much. Somehow or other, I was trying to avoid it actually. Then after almost 10 years or 8 years, then again I came in association devotees. Then maybe after 10 years only I could start. So many times it happens. See, it also depends on where you have stopped earlier, right, in the last life. So somebody who has made much more progress, they may start up very early in the life. But some of us know, like for example, we have not done much things, no, then we may take more time actually to take it up. So whatever it is, now we have got an opportunity. Now we have to see what best we can make out without wasting as much, minimum time as possible. We should try to put more and more attention, fully focus on it, and then try to make our life successful, like Prabhupada used to say. So there's no point. Prabhupada also tell, no, there's no point in wasting time to find out why did I fall down from spiritual world, or when did I fall down. No, now you got opportunity to take it up. Like that Prabhupada used to tell many times. Sometimes devotees ask him, because that's a very difficult, perplexing question, right? Why did we fall and when did we fall, kind of question, right? So now you have the opportunity, so take it up. Adato Brahma Jitnasa. Now you have got an opportunity. So sometimes it is difficult to understand, Mataji, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel that definitely karma is definitely a factor. I feel though those scriptures say that karma is not a factor. That may be in the sense that just because you have bad karma, doesn't become disqualified. No, if you have a mercy of a pure devotee, irrespective of karma, you can become a devotee. But general in the normal course of activities, if your karma is very bad, right, you have a lot of sinful activities, then it's very difficult that you get a chance to take up devotional service. No, there will be a lot of obstacles. First of all, you will not get a chance to meet devotees. Even if you meet devotees, no, you may face so many obstacles from family members, no, spouse, or so we see so many devotees struggling, right? Who actually, even though they want to take up, they are not able to take. So it's very difficult to understand. But all that we can do is that we can put our earnest endeavor. Now that we have an opportunity, we don't want to miss it, and then we put all our best efforts, and then understand the value of this actually. So generally we take granted things, right? And also we do that actually. So even though we got this thing which is very valuable, but we try to neglect it. We don't really take it very seriously. We just are casual towards it. So that is all. So only way to make progress is like association of devotees, pure devotees. Try to make the opportunity. By their mercy we can make progress. Or spiritual master.
And the Lord's mercy, that we
Yes,
should.
Lord's mercy comes through the spiritual master
The
and
devotees,
devotees.
Prabhuji, finally it is the plan of the Lord, Prabhuji. What he has in store for us. No questioning why, when, why so late, why before. At the right time, you will get it. So it's all the plan of Lord in the scheme of things that's going around us.
Yes.
So nothing
But,
to bad about old, young, nothing. It's all positive, Prabhuji. You
yeah,
get
that's
it.
true, Mataji.
That is all I see it as. No
That's right,
regrets.
Mataji. Yeah. So, but see, along with the plan of the Lord, our desire is also both are important actually.
It'll come when Prabhuji, it'll come when the Lord plans it.
Not necessarily, Mataji. See, that's why we say the Lord has given us free will. So of course, Lord's both are required, Mataji. See, living any day is a free will, no? So if you completely are neglectful, or in the sense we don't take any effort from our side, then the Lord also will not push us much. So we should also do some endeavor, and then Lord actually will also see both. Without Lord's sanction or Lord's thing, we can't definitely do anything. No, we can't make any progress. That is true. But if you only think that Lord, someday it will happen like that. I mean, there are many people, like I have seen actually many old people I've seen I mean to say people who speak Hindi. I know some people actually they will say that जब करेंगे तब होगा ऐसा. But actually that is just a word. They don't want to do it. So they just keep telling that अभी नहीं आया, नहीं तो जब राम कहेंगे तब होंगे, ऐसा these kind of things they will tell. and then they will do just they will evening they'll go here and chat with a lot of old people. These kind of things. They don't want to do it actually, so they will just give that excuse. That is true, Mataji. So without Lord's thing we can't do. There's a time for everything. Now that part is right, Mataji. But also at the same time, no, we should also, once we know this, then we should endeavor also. We should put effort from our side, no, strongly. That is required. Okay, Nivedana Mataji, so let's go on.
Yeah, and yeah, one more quality like example is like tolerance, Prabhuji. Like whatever you DOT and non-DOT, if you compare, then DOT will have the tolerant capacity. They should develop that tolerance capacity, which is very important in spiritual growth. Like it is in Sister Stakam, it is told Trinada Pesai Pesuna, that sloka. So,
Yes, Mataji.
Trinadapi Sunechena Tarur Iva Sahisuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. So that quality which will be naturally like by practice devotee can develop the quality, but a non-devotee they will think it is like it is a weakness. They will consider that is one more weakness, and they will debate what like it is. How can you tolerate? How can you say that you tolerate? How can you don't stand up for yourself? How can we don't defend? That is an compared to devotee and non-devotee. That is one more example we can quote. Yeah.
Yes, Mataji.
And this to Krishna consciousness is to mainly to bring the transformation. This transformation it will cannot be imposed or forced upon others, but it can only be via inspiration. So it can only be inspired. So we can't force to transfer this. We can be only devotee can impress a non-devotee to follow this path.
Yes.
And if this transformation is not happening, like whatever you say, whatever we are doing, it is not happening, means it's still in this external, that is in the external material attached only. Our devotional service is considered, we are still hanging to the materialistic taste. So we have to decide, and we have to put our honest, and we should be very honest and humble, and try hard to progress spiritually. We have to put more hard to progress spiritually.
Yes. Anything else? Any other points we missed? Anybody has any questions? Devotees?
Yeah, Prabhuji, just one question I have actually is regarding the Vishuddha Sattva. So this beyond the mode of beyond all three modes, I mean, I read somewhere that this is possible only for the demigods, I think, not for the human. I mean, it is very difficult to pass all three modes. So only demigods are in the situation of the beyond the three modes, right?
No, Prabhuji. So demigods can be are still can be in the mode of one of the modes. It is mentioned that for Lord Brahmaji, like he is the controller of he's in the mode of, he has to act in the mode of passion for the creation, etc. Right? So demigods are also not in. See, only a pure devotee of the Lord will can be in the mode of Shuddha Sattva. So demigods are not in Shuddha Sattva necessarily. Maybe some of them maybe, like Lord Shiva, for example, like he's a pure devotee of the Lord. But generally, demigods are not. Like the demigod means it can be like any of the demigod, Indra, Indra, Chandra, Varuna. They are all demigods, right? So demigods are not in the mode of necessarily in the mode of. If a demigod is pure devotee of the Lord, then they will be in the Shuddha Sattva. So
So yeah.
yes.
Okay, means irrespective of demigod or not demigod, it is, I mean, that is not the main criteria. Means
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
For example, Indra actually, we know that there are many pastimes of Indra, like where actually he has acted in different ways, right?
Yes.
Like yeah. So it is mentioned, yeah, like that there are many stories actually. So it is not that demigods. See, demigods are devotees, devadas. They generally act according to the will of the Lord. But no, they are not beyond the three modes of material nature, because we can see from their activity. See, somebody is a pure devotee or somebody is beyond the three modes, they will act in that way. But we can see that many demigods, no, there are many pastimes, right, where we can see that they were not actually. Like for example, they were also attached. They may do activities which show attachment, or they may, especially in the devatas, actually they are more inclined to sense gratification. Now we see that in the Swargaloka, they are actually more doing sense gratificatory activities. So their lifetime is long. So they cannot be in the mode of Shuddha Sattva. No? In that case, that is not possible. So Shuddha Sattva is irrespective of whether you are a human being, demigod. No, that is not the thing. You are whether you are a pure devotee of the Lord, who is completely above all the material attachments, who was always in the transcendental platform, always thinking about the Lord. No, he is actually in the Shuddha Sattva.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's
Thank
what
you.
they say, no, Prabhuji, that Srila Prabhupada, he is above all the demigods, no?
Yeah, it is not. I don't know explicitly, but it is mentioned somewhere or not. I'm not sure, Mataji. See, what actually see pure devotees generally they say, generally the pure. See, there are two kind of perfect devotees. Okay, basically perfect devotee is called Siddha, Nitya Siddha, right? Nitya Baddha and so there are two categories of living entities, in the entire creation across material and spiritual world. One is called the Nitya Baddhas, and other is called the Nitya Siddhas. Okay, Nitya Siddha is eternally liberated soul, Nitya Siddhas, and Nitya Baddhas are eternally conditioned soul. So the Nitya Siddhas, right? They are pure devotees. So generally, Nitya Siddhas also, basically there are two categories actually in that. Further, one is called a Sadhana Siddha and Kripa Siddha. So basically one can become perfect by doing sadhana and by mercy of others. And then that other category actually is always eternally liberated. So the three categories: one is always liberated, they never come here, they even if they come, they only come for performing pastimes with the Lord. Now other two categories we can also become Nitya by either by our sadhana gradually, and then by kripa, by just by mercy of some pure devotee, right? These are all different categories, but the point what I'm trying to say is that Prabhupada, if you say somebody is a pure devotee or Nitya Siddha, then actually they are not actually belong to the material world at all. They just come here just to fulfill the mission of the Lord. So Lord has some plans. Like whenever the Lord came, right? It is mentioned that when Krishna incarnated, like in the Dwapara Yuga, he told all the demigods and then all the his spiritual associates also to actually take birth, to perform the pastime. So many of the demigods became Yadus, and many of the spiritual world inhabitants of the spiritual world, they came here actually and become his associates. So sometimes these are actually there are different kinds of avatar, Amsha Avatara, Shakti Avatar, Avatar, etc. So Prabhupada is considered as a Shakti Avatar, in the sense he's an empowered kind of representative of the Lord. So we don't know much information about Prabhupada actually. See, because if you go during the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we have actually some book called Gaur Ganodesha Deepika. So in that it is mentioned that different associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who they were in the spiritual world. So about Prabhupada actually there is no explicit information which we have. Okay, but generally we have to understand that he is an empowered soul, and he might have just come to help, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur had a prediction that my Senapati Bhakta will come later, and then he will spread this world all over the world. So we understand that this Bhaktivinoda Thakur's prediction has became true in the form of Srila Prabhupada. So from that perspective, we have to understand that Srila Prabhupada actually is an associate. Should be an associate from the spiritual world. So a associate from spiritual world generally, it should be more superior than demigods, right? Because demigods are still in the material realm, right? They are actually doing some duties. They are helping the universal government of the material affairs. So, but I'm not sure, Mataji. Maybe it is mentioned, but I have not read that. No, somewhere it is mentioned that Prabhupada is about demigod explicitly like that. But no, by analyzing, we can understand that if he's a Nityasiddha, then naturally he is above demigods.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, what is any other questions are there? I'll stop the recording.